Since February 2018, the crack team consisting of an old hipster, a rookie, and Tyrod Taylor's biggest fan record from a secret location in the heart of Scotland. Their aim is to try and dissect all things NFL. If you want their opinion, and if you can find them, this is the American Fitbaw Cast.
Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the American Fitbaw Cast. I am Andrew, I'm your host again for this week. Feels like I've not hosted for a while actually.
Me and you switched around with holidays and stuff,
Yeah,
it's all went horribly
Been about a month since I was last in control of this ship.
Well, Gav never knows when he's in charge anyway. We keep telling him like 2 minutes before, he's like, oh no!
So as you can hear, as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts Steve and Gav. How are you both?
Stressed out my nut. Recording at the secret bunker has come with extra problems of the actual bunker main time-consuming activity. It's definitely not work.
In honour of the late Stanley, with great power comes great responsibility, Steve.
Right enough. Yeah. You made me cry, man. But yeah, that's fine. This is my nice peace and quiet time.
Just our relaxing lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah. Shooting the shit.
Let's crack straight into it.
Actually, talk about shooting your shot or taking your shot. Did you see the whole Harry Berry, Jared Goff thing?
Oh my god, it's the best thing ever. I think I put it in the chat.
What a guy. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, that is well played. Go for it. Yeah, it's my favourite play ever. I was like, oh, smooth. And then his whole team just started ripping on him. I was like, I fucking love it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Sorry, anyway, I was, carry on.
A couple of bits of news over the past 24 hours. Did we say last week we won't speak about Lev Bell again?
We quickly skipped over it in the fact that we wouldn't have to speak about it again, and then I think, Gabby, you said we probably will have to quickly mention it next week, and we can now finally mention it and put it to bed.
Yeah, so he didn't sign, so he will not be playing in the NFL in 2018.
And guess how many people are surprised?
Not many.
Yeah.
Fantasy owners everywhere are in utter rage, though.
I think
wasting their first overall pick.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago the news came out about how he didn't actually have to sign.
Yeah. And that if they tagged him again, it would then be equivalent to quarterback numbers, which would be like 20 mil plus.
So I wonder if him and his team knew all this all along, and they've literally had the ball in their court the full time.
And the Steelers
were basically backed into a... No, I mean...
They just felt they couldn't do much about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the Steelers probably didn't have a play. They were...
I don't think we'll ever know what the numbers were and how far apart they were, but reading between the lines, it was a good chunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the feeling that they would have offered him similar to Gurley contract, possibly a teeny bit more than that to make him the best player. But he was wanting wide receiver level. Yeah. He was wanting like Julio Jones gets and stuff like that. 19 mil a year.
100 mil over range. 5 years or something like that.
They were probably giving him maybe about, I want to say maybe 14.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think so.
Which is where his tag's at, isn't it?
Oh God, so would they be averaging the same as what his tag would be? Probably not, actually.
It would have to be a bit higher than his tag.
Would it? Yeah.
Surely.
No, is the tag not...
Your tag's
tag is the average of the top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore he's going to be offering more than the tag.
Yeah. But I mean, that's still a sizable gap.
You mentioned fantasy owners being raging.
Yeah.
Where does he go in the fantasy draft next year?
Depends on where he ends up.
That's the good thing. It all depends on where he signs. And whether he doesn't bust
even if he's in the best fit, is he going top 2? After a year out?
So I would take Gurley, Elliott.
Kamara?
Probably.
Yeah, I think he probably goes 3 or 4.
And he's in that group where Saquon Barkley, Kareem Hunt.
I think it's still, if he got the best fit,
probably ahead of Leonard Fournette. I think if
he gets the best fit, whatever that best fit may be, he goes in the top 5 still. I think so. I think
Yeah.
people will easily spin it as he's less miles on the clock.
Yeah. The only thing I would worry about is it depends what I mean best fit. Best fit for him is it best fit for team? Because you want somebody that's got a really solid wide receiver core that helps free up space for him, rather than him being the de facto guy. I mean, he could go to say the Jets. Let's say he goes to the Jets, right? Jets don't address wide receiver next year. It's Darnold and Bell, and every defense will just block him out of the game. You know what I mean? So that's kind of your problem.
So if it's a best fit in terms of getting the best out of him in terms of his capability,
yes,
he goes top 5. If he goes
in
to
a team that if
he goes to where the money is,
then he's the guy. Then he's your round 2 pick, I think.
I would put him in about the same place as Fournette, so probably early round 2, maybe late round 1, depending on how many people.
It depends who goes and what, whether you really want to go.
Size of your league.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Can't wait
So
to speculate
is that the last time we're going to speak about him then? Probably
until fantasy next year, I think.
Yeah,
until free agency.
Free agency.
And then we can speculate like fuck.
Yeah.
So bye Bell. Bell end.
On to
It's the bell end.
from left bell to tackle bell.
That's his off-season job. Make me some tacos. Make sure some mince.
No, I meant the Mexico game.
Nice segue though. I just literally thought he was going to get a part-time job because he's doing nothing now.
As you said, the Mexico game, it's come out overnight and early this morning that the Mexico game will be played in LA.
Did you guys see the picture of the pitch?
Oh my god, what an absolute shambles.
Whoa,
It literally looked like a field.
Yeah, I mean, what
Cows have
really
been on
surprises me is that they've actually been playing games of football
on there.
on that field. I mean,
Like,
it's a standards thing.
So I'm an amateur level referee locally here, and if I turned up at an amateur park and it looked like that, I'm calling the game off.
You're not even playing it.
Yeah.
It's abandoned.
Do you know, one thing that I think's a call out that the NFL probably gets as a negative on this is surely they should have known all this.
Before now.
Yeah, this shouldn't be a surprise. You would imagine they would have some sort of delegates that would be in regular contact with whoever's responsible for that stadium.
They did, and I think, I don't know for sure, but reading from what I did, I think the deterioration all happened really quickly just in the last couple of weeks. I think before that it was alright, and they were going to get away with it, and there was the whole... They probably want to give them enough rope.
They recently laid a new pitch
could,
in the stadium, which is the cause, and then it's been very wet, apparently. They've had a concert on there and a lot of
concerts and stuff,
games,
which is,
and it's
and
just
that's the
screwed
stupid
up a lot.
Yeah.
Daft.
So, scheduling. They knew it was coming up. You're right enough, actually. They knew it was coming up. They should have probably done it sooner than this. It's very last minute. They could have called it last week, realistically, without it being as much of a problem.
For the Rams, that's probably a huge chunk of fan base that they are missing out on, potentially, because, you know, LA and Mexico, there seems to be that connection.
Yeah, possibly.
Do you mean as in like what the Jags do over here? They've kind of got a secondary fan base.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, sorry, yeah.
So that obviously doesn't help them.
And it's going to be a disaster for the NFL themselves. They want to grow their brand globally. Mexico's probably their second or third biggest market. And they're missing out on
everything that comes with it, not so much the game itself.
Even the game itself, with the way the schedule landed this year, it's the Rams against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's one of the games of the season.
It could be the Super Bowl preview.
Exactly.
They probably couldn't have asked for a better game.
Exactly, and it's all gone wrong.
Yeah. Nice move though they've moved it back to the Coliseum, and then the Rams have sent lots of comps out to like all the fire service and stuff that have been battling.
Oh, that's good.
And the emergency services that are dealing with all the problems in California at the moment. So I thought it was quite nice.
So Mexican.
Full of Mexican.
Yeah. So let's go a bit further back and actually talk about some of the games this weekend. Stand out for me, the Saints go marching on.
That was a crucifixion. I thought I was watching Marvin Lewis get sacked in real time. How he's managed
the Bengals' joint worst defeat in franchise history.
Yep.
It was the second most number of points they've conceded. and they are the first team to allow 500 yards of offense in 3 consecutive games.
Oh my god.
But it's all good though, because they've just employed Hugh Jackson.
As a special assistant.
And that's when our chat started going downhill very quickly last night. I loved it.
That's definitely
just awful. He's a first year defensive coordinator, so I mean they very much have hung him out to dry. He's had a shit performance, but it feels very much to me Marvin Lewis is doing that more to save his job than anything else.
Yeah.
Actually, I suppose that makes sense as well, but there's no working with him or the team. He's just like, right, you're the fall guy, go. I'll get someone else in. Jackson's in as a special coordinator. He specialises more in offense rather than defense anyway. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to... Lewis is taking on the defensive coordinator duties as well. Oh my god. Because that was a headline. Has worst... This guy's made a Teflon. It's like, has worst record... worst defeat ever, gets a promotion.
Yeah. But do we see the Saints being stopped right now?
No.
Do you think they go all the way?
God, maybe. It's really difficult to count against.
This was the first
There
game.
is a couple of teams that have a chance.
The Rams couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
And the dome,
ready next time.
That is the difference.
Yes.
And I know that this was obviously an open field game, but it was against the Bengals, so it's different.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say that was really clear in this game was the influence Mark Ingram had.
Yes, they really fed him the ball in proper... They wanted to bring him... I was watching the game live, they were saying that, the commentary team were saying that Sean Payton is... What he's masterful at is someone's having a few bad weeks. He's very good at noticing, oh god, they're a bit in a funk, right, I'm going to kind of, G them up and give them a pep talk, and I'll feature them a bit more, and I'll just basically bring the best out of them really quickly. And he's done that with Ingram, because Ingram came back after his suspension, had a brilliant game when he first came back,
Redskins.
And then has slowly kind of trickled down into, what was it, 30 odd yards last week or something. Yeah, it was just not much happening at all, less carries. Just kind of thought, has he,
What I thought was interesting, they were playing him more in the screen game than they were running. They were letting Kamara do more of the running and Ingram in the screen, when normally you would just flip that around.
You'd switch them, yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
But again,
it was about this time last year that they really hit their stride as a backfield. And it feels like the same's happening again. And Michael Thomas is flying, and Drew Brees, who went second all time in passing touchdowns, he passed Brett Favre.
I love Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all love Drew Brees. I think everyone loves Drew Brees.
The level of completion percentage he's on for it's something like 76.4% for a season. The previous best ever was 72. He's going to absolutely, no surprise there. He's going to obliterate his own record. He's 21-1.
Does he not already have something like 3 of the top 4 seasons in terms of completion
he does it in
percentage?
passing yards, probably. Yeah. Because even before he had Michael Thomas and the backfield now, his previous kind of wide receiver core of Marcus Colston was the guy. Completion wise, he was always doing solid with them as well. They didn't drop many balls, so he's actually got really lucky to transition through almost like an entire offense to a new entire offense with him still being there, and the people that have come in aren't dropping anything, which is great.
One other thing I loved about the Saints is the use of, is it Taysom Hill?
Taysom, yeah.
Oh my, he was doing punt returns. I don't know if you've seen that. So he's a quarterback. He lines up at wide receiver. He lines up in the slot. He lines up just across the whole the fronts. I'm struggling for words there. Across the whole of the offensive side of the ball, and then he takes the ball on punt returns, and he's good.
And the Pro Bowl voting's open today, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But he is on the list as a punt returner.
That's in the returners list.
I love that.
Might give him a cheeky vote, I think. Let's see. But do you know what I noticed? And because I've seen him in a couple of games now. He almost has what I want to call the Tyreek Hill effect. Yeah. Just somebody gets a ball and it feels like another level, like electric playmaker.
Yeah.
Every time he had the ball on Sunday, Didn't matter what defender was in front of him, and he was trying to plough through them.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a quarterback, I don't care about my arms.
Do you know
Sod it, I'm selling out from a team, I'm just going through this guy.
Do you want to know what reminds me of, Andrew? You'll maybe not know this, but Steve, I'm sure we spoke about it before. Denard Robinson at the Jags.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the offensive weapon?
Yeah.
The Jags tried to create the offensive weapon, and Denard Robinson was a quarterback turned into a running back, could play wide receiver.
Yep.
Have the Saints found a way to actually create that through Hill?
Yeah, I think they have at the minute. It just looks, and Peyton seems to be bringing him in more and more as the season goes on.
It's like this wild card play that you just cannot factor for because he can
do. Yeah,
it's crazy.
But I mean, I don't know how good he is as an actual quarterback because he hasn't done much of that. But you don't need to. He's that good in a sort of running / slot capacity. Whatever they get him to do, he just seems to kick it out of the park, which is amazing.
And one thing we've not talked about with the Saints is the 2-day return of Des Bryant. I feel so sorry for the guy.
Oh, what a heartbreaker.
I like that during the game they all threw up the X when they scored touchdowns.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Cool. Yeah. And Peyton's come out and said that he's open to the idea of him returning next year, so that'll entirely depend on how his off-season goes. And
it
stuff
won't be on good cash.
Well, that's it. They can get him on a cheeky one-year flyer next season as well.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Other things that happened, there was quite a lot actually happened last week. Won't go through everything, but Big Ben had a crazy game. 5 touchdowns.
5 different receivers.
Yeah, 5 different receivers, which is crazy.
I don't know the passer rating off the top of my head, but I'd imagine it's through the fucking roof.
Again, don't know, but yeah, I think it was easily 130s, if not better. Anyway, it was solid, really solid game against the Panthers, who
are good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
They're not playing anybody mugs. They made
Steelers took the piss out of them. What was it? 52-1,
something like that.
52-21, something like that.
Yeah.
It was an absolute arse kicking. It was so yeah. Again, kind of talking about how we think the Saints are hitting the form at the right time and streaking the right way. Pittsburgh are now on a 5-win winning streak.
Yep.
They really have flipped it round.
Yeah, because they were dodgy at the start.
Oh, aye, yeah. To the point I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's
no
when
Steelers in the mix. That'll be nice for someone else.
It was the whole Bell talk at the start of the season. Obviously, it was a huge thing. And I don't know whether that maybe just had a whole impact on them.
Yeah.
And Big Ben came out and said he wasn't on the same page as anyone.
Yeah.
At the start of the season.
He loves a soundbite. I love Big Ben's soundbite. He says, I don't have it anymore last year. Like, I'm not on the same page as anyone.
For 3 more years. I was going to say that now. Oh, Brown, yeah, the funk. So Antonio Brown was off to a pretty slow start, arguably. Things weren't quite working. That's where the whole comment came out about I'm in a funk.
Going at 100 miles an hour now, plus.
Yeah, he's on 10 receiving touchdowns already this season, and he's leading the league. And I was just like, that just seems to have crept out of nowhere in the last couple of games.
And of course, he's flying in his car and getting chased by police and shit like that as well.
Oh, what a clown! What a clown!
Why do NFL players do that shit? They don't have to.
Do you remember me talking to you? I want to say it was last year, and it was a player in the NFL has been arrested every month.
Oh yeah,
every calendar month, and they thought the streak had finished last September, and it hadn't, because on the 30th of September somebody got caught, but it just took 2 days to come out of the woodwork. It was something like 5 years solid. It would have been the first month in 5 calendar years where a player had not got arrested. It just happens all the time.
Yeah.
Give kids loads of money and they just go off the deep end.
I think we have to speak about how goddamn awful the Jets were. In fact, before we finish on the Steelers, James Conner is still on concussion protocol.
Oh, is he still? Is he not cleared yet?
Nope.
The only advantage is they've got the mini bye, i.e. the 10-day break before they play again. Because they played on a Thursday, so that's the only advantage.
They've only got 3 days left. Or does he has to be on Friday?
Friday, yeah. I think you have to be in practice on Friday.
So you've got 2 days to get back into practice.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just playing it extra safe because it's first concussion.
Maybe. Yeah.
But that's
something to keep an eye on then. Yeah.
Because that does change the game for them if he.
Absolutely, because he's been the perfect villain for them.
He's outperformed Bell.
Well, actually, yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So
which says, is Bell actually that good, or is it all scheme?
Well, that's the fans on Twitter are hilarious because, of course, they're going in on Bell now. They are not happy with it, right? You've put yourself above the team and we hate your guts and whatever. And this is the general trend. And they're like, yeah, but it's just proof, because Connor's come in and done better, proof that Bell's just a system guy. They're absolutely throwing him under the bus. It's hilarious.
I love it.
So yeah, the Jets were awful. They got thumped by the Bills.
Oh my good God.
Of all the teams that get destroyed by, only Oakland would be worse, let's be honest.
Yes.
Every other team that's not had many wins, you could kind of argue and you could see why you'd get destroyed by them. Nobody had the Bills doing anything this week because they had Matt Barkley that they brought in.
Yep. He'd only been with the team for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Allen wasn't going to be back and fit. You had Peterman, who was on for a career worst everything ever to exist in the world of NFL ever.
And his career is now over.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way he's getting signed. He's not getting a practice squad or nothing. That boy is done.
Yeah.
Wonder what happens to the GoFundMe money. Did that just get refunded to people? They were saving the millions to try and buy him out his contract so he'd have to retire. I wonder what happens with that money. Good old Bills fans.
Todd Bowles trying to get Todd Bowles sacked?
He's going to struggle not to, I think, this season now. I mean, they found the guy. There's no denying. I think the chalk and cheese between Darnold not being there and McCowan, who's meant to be a very solid backup, albeit a old vet, he is no Fitzmagic. There was no second wind of feeling that this offence was going to tick along okay. Nope. It was just a demolition.
Yep. He did okay last year.
He did,
yeah. Well, so maybe it's game rust. Maybe it's fact because he's not played or whatever. But what I was thinking more was the fact that had Darnold been in there, it wouldn't have been as bad a shellacking as it was. Yeah, the defence didn't play well, but I think Darnold is the guy for the Jets. Yep. That seems pretty much written in already. Okay, yeah, he could have a second-year slump like normal, but based on what he's doing so far, I'm thinking the Jets have found their guy for the next 10 years now.
Yeah, we've mentioned it a few times. I think the 4 teams that took their quarterbacks in the top 10 have all found their guy.
Yeah. And they're all going to have slight growing pains, but they all seem to be fucking
as long as they support them in the right way. The capability of all the players is clearly there. It's just, have they got the guys to support them to reach what they need to reach?
All 4 teams effectively need to double down on their offense next off-season and draft to really support, whether it's bulking up the O-line so they don't get crushed, giving them targets in wide receiver core, or if any team's missing a really shit-hot running back, bring somebody like that in to help.
Yeah.
That's me just saying. I think all 4 teams need to just double down on it. And then if they have shoddy defenses, that's fine. That can wait a year. But solidify your offense, and then that sets you up fine going forward.
I think that the Jets will get rid of Bowles, whoever their offensive coordinator is, and their defensive coordinator.
Just clean house and start again.
Yep.
Possibly. Yeah, I think. Because Bowles is a defensive guy.
And he's had, 3 years? 3 years?
It is year 3 now, yeah. Because albeit his record's not been great, you've seen a lot of fight from the players, and they've been really competitive, and all the way through the season, and the players like him. But that doesn't get you an unlimited leash. It gives you a bit more leash than you normally would get, because at least if the players are fighting for you, it's difficult for the organisation, and and the fans can see that. The organisation is very difficult to move away unless you've got a really awful record. But I almost wonder if there was a point on Sunday where even they were just like, fucking hell, we're just getting killed here against Matt bloody Barkley.
Yeah, I think that's enough to hang the noose.
So on paper, the Jets' defense is all right.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, that's the thing. Albeit the draft pick article about what they need to load up on next year is saying they probably need some help in the defense. Whether that's just a reaction to one game, I don't know. Yeah. But you'd think. I don't know.
And
just awful.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the awful end of the spectrum. We had the Giants and Niners, which took us to a position where it's only the Raiders now that are on 1 win. All the other first pick contenders are on 2. The Raiders play the Cardinals this week. Could their number 1 pick be nailed on after this coming week?
It's number 1 for them.
I think so.
Probably number 1, number 4, number 7, number 9. However many.
Yeah, the way they're going at. So there was rumblings on Twitter of a seasoned vet came out in the locker room and said, they weren't named, but it said, I need to get the fuck out of here. Very interestingly, a day or 2 later, there was a report. No. Jordy Nelson may retire mid-season.
Oh,
That
okay.
doesn't seem to have materialised, which is quite interesting because the Jordy Nelson might retire article was on NFL. All the rumblings of there was a vet, that was very kind of vocal in his annoyance with the Raiders organisation in the locker room, but they weren't naming it. But I mean, I'm just throwing two and two together and then say it's him.
Could
He's
be.
just like he's fucked off. He got his big money deal. He thought everything was going right. The Raiders are an absolute free fall, cleaning house, loading up on new young talent, looking ahead to Vegas. Not even next season. They're looking ahead to
2 years,
Vegas.
isn't it?
It's a long-term plan.
Yeah, they're ready to lose next year as well.
I think so. Go all in on the draft, 2 seasons on the trot, and then Gruden sits here in year 3 with his class of blue chips and just goes, ha ha ha, fuck you, league.
To be fair, the one thing from a positive standpoint of the Raiders was they actually were not that bad against the Chargers. I know they got beat 26, but they were playing the Chargers.
It was tight all the way into the third quarter easily.
They were competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that's just because he threw in. I think Carl Joseph and Gary Conley both played who they were both trying to get rid of, who were both first round picks a couple of years ago. But he's now started to play them, so I don't know if that's helped.
Is it though? I think part of because he's jettisoned a lot of people. He's definitely this whole clearinghouse type thing. You get these younger, hungrier people that come in, and they fight
Point to
far
prove.
more. Yeah, they've got a point to prove. They want to be in the roster next year.
Yeah.
They fight for the organisation. Fans are going to love that as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Gruden's maybe beginning to think that way? And he's thinking,
Maybe.
look, I've got all these old overpriced vets that he may have had some say in it, but I don't know. I get this weird feeling that he might get a bit of a say in player personnel, but it's all Davis and
Was it Reggie McKenzie?
Reggie McKenzie, that's the one. Yes, I think there seems to be a slight disconnect there in the Raiders organisation.
Maybe.
But you'd think if you're giving Gruden $100 million over 10 years, he gets a bit of a say in who he wants to play for him.
Yeah.
You would have to think so.
Quite tied up there.
Especially when you've taken him out of the ESPN booth and really had to woo him.
Yeah. So you bring him in. He's there for free agency. So you're bringing in all these old vets on deals, and then all these ones are the ones that he's getting rid of in the middle of the season. Or
maybe
is it
this
Reggie
is just
McKenzie?
the
I
adjustment
don't
year.
know.
Maybe because when I think a lot of people at the start of the year were looking at the moves that the Raiders had made, and it was a lot of like, what the hell are they doing that for? Like, I think even the Jordan Nelson one, a lot of people were like, that makes no sense.
We didn't like it. I remember us.
Yeah.
I'm sure we were saying, I don't really like that move at all.
So there was no sort of injection of youth or injection of passion or fire or any of these sort of
No freshness. in
yeah.
there.
So I wonder if it's maybe he's just gone, actually, I am out of touch. Maybe he has evaluated that throughout the season and thought,
Mm-hmm.
Time to change tack.
Time will tell, obviously, as is with everything.
one other team that I think definitely deserves an honourable mention is the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh,
Yeah, what a result for them.
34-10.
that's amazing.
Before we get into how good the Titans were, how hilarious is the Tom Brady
Oh,
play?
catch where he's like bumbling all over the place. Trying to recreate his Super Bowl special. Actually caught it, so fair play, at least he caught the ball, but it was the worst attempt at
It's
reception.
like his legs crumble.
I could do better than that.
His legs literally
I've
fold
not
in on
actually seen this
themselves.
play. I need to look
My
at it.
knee's ready to fall off, let's be honest. I struggle to get upstairs some days. And I could do better than what Flippin'
hilarious.
Brady did.
It's like his legs are made out of sand.
Awful. Give him the
and-
GOAT title in so many categories, but do not ever throw a ball at him. Just stop it now.
He
Stop
sat
it.
out with still 6.5 minutes on the
I
clock.
was really disappointed with that. I thought that was a bit of a poor show.
There was 3 scores down. But yeah, 6 minutes is a long time in football.
Well, you talk about the 2-minute offense, right? So
Exactly.
that's three lots of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Brady will get you 3 touchdowns.
You've got
if you really have to.
one of the best quarterbacks at all time, 6 minutes on the clock, a team that, and the Titans have been pretty good.
You were 28-3 down in the Super Bowl
I know.
in the third quarter,
I know.
and you still won.
I know. It was just really disappointing. I felt really sorry for any Patriot fans that travelled to Tennessee. I feel like they've not got the money's worth there. And I don't normally feel sorry for the Patriots in any way, shape or form, but I did just watching that. I was like, that's shit.
Yeah.
At least give. I mean, 3 minutes to go or something. Yeah, okay. If you're down 3 scores,
nailed
and there's
on
about
way
3 minutes
beyond
to go,
you.
and it's just like, okay, sit. Because I mean, Dalton got pulled in about 10 minutes to go, I think. In the fourth
that game
quarter.
was long gone.
That game was lost at half time. It was
Yeah.
fucking 5 drives, 5 touchdowns, 35 points in before half time. It was just like amazing.
And for the Titans, they look like they've started to get Mariota firing. That's 2 really good games in a row for him.
Yep.
I don't know.
Corey Davis has
I
helped
was
out a lot, actually, because he's been arguably a bit of a bust. No one's really quite sold on him.
3 or 4 games,
he's got it together.
Yeah, in fact,
Tajay Sharp's been a bit up and down, but he's a nice compliment. If the two of them kind of just solve the last piece of the puzzle that they're whatever it is that they're quite struggling on, you get them two on both sides of the field. Job done.
And it was really interesting. So there was part of the commentary during that game where they were talking about Mariota, and the biggest issue he's had, or one of the biggest issues, was the loss of Delaney Walker.
Yes.
Mariota's year 3?
Yes.
I think year 3
Maybe
quarterback.
4, but yeah, it's still early anyway.
And he's had a few injury issues.
Same class as
James Winston, isn't it? So this is year 4.
Yeah, well, Goff and Wentz are in year 3, aren't they?
Yes.
So year 4. So he's had a lot of injuries along the way. Mariota, that is, and then when Walker goes out, that's normally the security blanket for younger quarterbacks. And they were saying how that's a really, and Delaney Walker was already a big piece of their offense, so to lose that, they think that's probably not helped. But he's started to really get together, and it's no surprise that the emergence of Corey Davis has.
Is there only because I seem to draft him every year in fantasy? Derrick Henry, right? Arguably has been shit for the Titans. He really hasn't.
Arguably.
Slam dunk. However, they kind of gave him the ball. They gave him a bit of a shot. He rumbled in a couple of touchdowns on Sunday. He strikes me as the kind of person. Yeah, he was on the bench typically. He strikes me as the kind of person that fuck you. Is that what you going fishing? You're like, there you go, take that, house rat. Yeah, the hook. Call back to last week if anyone doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about there. Where was I going with that? Derrick Henry. Oh yeah. So how we said earlier that Mark Ingram, had a bit of a funk. Sean Payton G'd him up. They played him better at the weekend. Turn him around. I get this weird feeling that, albeit as crap as Henry has been, if you get behind him a couple of games and feed him the rock 20 times a game, no questions. It doesn't matter if he's getting 2-3 yards. Just keep giving it to him. Give him a couple of games. Get behind him. I get this weird feeling he might just tip a corner. I don't think he's ever going to be top level. He's not going to be a Gurley. He's not going to be a Bell or whatever like that. Yeah. Oh, we mentioned him again. We said we weren't going to mention him again. Yeah. Shut up, House Rat. Let you play. Bell end. And but he could be somebody like a Bilal Powell or an Isaiah Crowell or
maybe even a little bit higher than that.
Duke Johnson. I get where you're going, though. Just somebody a bit better than what he's been.
I do think you're right. I do think he looks like the sort of running back that needs fed.
Not literally.
No, because he is a big boy.
Don't give him the Kelvin Benjamin diet.
No.
One off season.
And actually, again, I know that they've had a few injuries, but I've banged on about them a lot. But the Titans' offensive line is really good. So
is Conklin still out? Was he out last week from concussion? That's not good. He's had a couple of games missing concussion.
It's because he's a maniac.
That's why you like him, though, eh? Him and Taylor Lewan, you're like, heroes.
I just like people that are really aggressive. For no reason as well.
It's from where you're from.
Yeah. One other really cool thing about the Titans was Vrabel, former Patriot. Dion Lewis, former Patriot.
Butler,
former Patriot. The GM is a former Patriot. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was a head of personnel or something at the Patriots.
Right.
They did mention that in the commentary towards the end as well. How the amount of former Patriots there that have sort of been able to engineer that win.
Which it was pretty awesome. So yeah, and they've gone 5-4 now, so they're back in the hunt for that division.
Texans had their bye week, so they're still sitting top 6-3. But the Titans are just behind. So yeah, it's heating up nicely. Colts seem to have got their shit together.
And surprisingly, it's the Jags.
Captain Andrew Luck is marching on.
Yeah, he's got comeback player of the year nailed on this year, didn't he?
Was it 5 games in a row of 3 touchdowns? Or is it
Yeah.
6 now?
Don't know, something like that.
It's getting on a pretty daft streak now,
Yep.
to be honest. It's stuff that people haven't quite done before.
And who would have thought that the Jags have been
Around the bottom.
five losses in a row?
Yeah,
listen back to our division preview, and I'm pretty sure all of us had the Jags winning, didn't we?
I had them as Super Bowl winners in our bold predictions right at the start.
I want to say that I had the Titans winning the division.
You might have done, actually, yeah.
I think I was fanboying over Matt LaFleur.
You did, yes. You made a very compelling argument, and you may have got this right.
Maybe.
Damn you.
A few records that tumbled this week as well. Through 10 games, Patrick Mahomes has set a franchise record for passing touchdowns in a single season.
Incredible.
31 passing touchdowns in 10 games.
Was he on course for 49?
Yes.
So that'd be the 3rd best season ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's not bad. Only 2 though on Sunday. It disappoints me you say only 2 touchdowns. I mean, they still win, and they win well because they've got so many pieces in the offense.
It's like they're now. I feel like when you watch them in the last couple of weeks, they've sort of not taken the foot off the gas. It's like once we win, we've won. We don't need to keep going.
Rhythm, it seems, and they're conserving themselves for the battles to come.
Yes, exactly. They're playing that.
I think it was maybe just that new season energy where it was but it was like Andy Reid was ruthless. He wasn't taking the foot off the gas.
They started the season looking to just make a statement, and they made a hell of a statement.
And Tyreek Hill had an awesome game as well in that game, actually. I don't know if you've seen his catches. You might have because you're a Cardinals fan, but
I didn't see very much of that game, actually, to be honest.
But we were talking about this
stuck
this morning.
with them a little bit.
Yeah, it was actually one of the best performances Cards achieved all season.
Cards were competitive.
Yep. And that's a good thing. Even if you've got a team that's not having a great season, you just want to see them fighting.
Yeah,
that's the first thing you want to see.
And again, it's
ideal to go on to a game against the Raiders next after a performance like that.
Hopefully get a win, get a bit of a bounce, and then you've got a couple of good battles coming up. What did you say on the slate in the next few weeks? Lions, Falcons,
Packers as well.
Packers, which you would think they wouldn't have much sway against them, but Packers are slowly trending the wrong way. Cards trend up the way.
The only 2 games this season that are a total write-off, I think, is the games against both the LA teams to come. And they're the only games I would
you'd probably chalk them down. But you've got hope in the other ones, which is nice. Starting this Sunday. Is it Sunday? Yeah, it's Sunday.
Yes.
No, because I'm Monday night games. La Mexico.
Mexican.
Yeah. Other records to follow this week. Did Frank Gore have a record?
He did. No, he didn't. Wasn't a record, but he moved up in the all-time running back yards.
Again, just the second week in a row he's moved up.
He's gone up to 6, I think, 6 all-time.
Got you.
Everyone else in the top 8 has a gold jacket, so
when
all said and done, he'll have one.
I think he will get one, but he'll be one of these rare ones that gets in there with no ring.
Yeah.
There's not many of them. They tend to. There's almost like this weird unwritten rule that as long as you've got a ring, you've got a shot.
You need to be a winner.
To have something else, but you've got to have a Super Bowl ring. And I mean, I kind of speculate. If I went through the statistics of exactly who's in the Hall of Fame, there's probably not as high as what I think is.
I know what you mean, though.
You know what I mean? But yeah, there's almost that expectation that you've been in a Super Bowl and you've won. But he will get there. Might not be first ballot. He might have to take a few attempts at it, but I think he'll eventually get in.
Yeah, he's
on his body of work.
He doesn't look done
He's done
either.
it for multiple teams.
He's still looking good for the Dolphins, who are not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually doing better than I give them credit for because they're on a winning. Oh no, they're 5-5, I think.
Yeah, and they'd started 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, before falling away and then coming back. So
and it's funny as well how nobody's speaking about how bad Brock Osweiler is.
Yeah, because he's not actually been that bad for them.
It's like the Brock Osweiler we've seen at the Broncos with Adam Gase.
Serviceable. Yeah,
he's
a bit of a quarterback whisperer.
That was his offensive coordinator at the Broncos.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. So
it just works well under him.
Nice person, right person, right scheme, yeah.
And another person that went past a record, or you were telling me about this one, despite their team's horrendous result. Julio Jones, what was the record, Steve?
So he is the fastest person to hit 10,000 receiving yards. He's done it in 104 games, so that's like nearly 100 yard a game average. Which is awful, as in like ridiculous. He The last person to do it was Megatron, and he was 115 games.
Yep.
So he's 11 games faster than Megatron.
I know.
You won't know Megatron, will you? He was all prior to you.
Calvin Johnson.
Oh, the days of Megatron.
Oh my God.
You would throw it, Stafford would throw it in at triple coverage, and Megatron would be like, I don't give a shit, I'm getting the ball anyway. Boom, touchdown. It's absolutely insane, some of the stuff he used to come out with. They used to show this graphic, which I thought was amazing. It was his catch radius, and what they did is they put a picture of him against a double garage door, and then the span of what he could do, and in the entire double garage door, you could arc it right over. So if he's standing right in the middle, doesn't matter where you threw that ball in that arc. You know, if you touch
so there's a big space to aim for.
Yeah. I mean, Stafford's pretty accurate anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But even if you gave him a Peyton Manning wobbly duck, right? Yeah. He was getting it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Balls that should be like 20% chance of getting it, he was giving you a 60% chance of getting it.
Yeah. A bit like, so the equivalence to that now is your DeAndre Hopkins and Odell Beckham. Yeah. They have such a good catch ability and catch radius. I suppose actually Julio's got that as well. He's got a lot of length.
I was just going to say about Julio Jones, it's so funny how he doesn't get the love.
No. He's last couple of years, he's not actually had that many touchdowns.
It took him 2 weeks.
So he's got lots of yardage. Yeah. So that might be Sarkisian's.
Maybe,
because
Sarkisian, yeah.
Before that, he was solidly in for 10, 12 touchdowns a season. He was racking up the numbers. And the last two, he's not going to the end zone, but he's got consistent yardage game after game after game.
Yeah, it's the guy to get them up the field, but someone else will punch it in. Yeah. Or maybe not.
Well, the last few years, yeah. Oh my God, don't.
Yeah, what a result that was. But I suppose we'll talk that about. In fact, let's lead on to that.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about we're going to go into our regular feature now of Gav's betting tips.
So
what happened last week?
4 out of 5 came in on the bets.
So what was your tip?
Seahawks to win plus. You're asking me now. I don't have it written down here. Seahawks to win plus
13?
Plus
12. You had a 12-point win.
Yeah. Plus. I think it was plus 13.5. At the time I got it. I'll see if I can actually bring it up. I wish you give me more time.
Bring it in advance.
Whilst I get that image up, the Browns. Greg Williams gets his first win.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Baker Mayfield played arguably outstanding. There was that first touchdown that he ripped off the back and launched in the end zone was glorious.
They're another team that have found their guy.
Oh, aye, easily. And he did he not say something in his post game conferences that I felt kind of special this morning. I just knew something was going to happen. That kind of aura that he has. He's just one of these. It's on the nice side of arrogant. You've got to have a bit of arrogance to get away with it. I don't like people that think too much of themselves. He's got a bit of it, and it just comes across quite nicely. And I mean, it's for the pure Cleveland fans that have just had 20 years of utter hell.
And wasn't that one of the things when they drafted him that John Dorsey said was it was about the way that he conducted himself?
His moxie, yes, the fact that he's one of these people that can make other people better. He will make. So not only is he good in his own right, but he can make other people outperform what you would expect.
Yeah.
Which is intangibles they always go on about.
Yeah. So I can't get this image up, which is really annoying, but I think I remember it. So it was.
Filled all that space for nothing.
It was
filling like a boss.
Call him the dentist. Yes, it was the Seahawks plus 13.5, which came in comfortably. They were brilliant against the Rams, and then you had the Chargers to beat the Raiders -6, which came in.
They won by 14, did they not?
Yeah. Then it was in fact, if I bring up the results, I'll be able to. It might jog my memory.
You had the Saints to win.
Saints to win. They won unbelievably comfortably.
You had, was it the Bears was the other one to win?
Bears to win.
Again, and then you had the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Browns.
Yeah, that was exactly
That's the one.
And that's the one that let us down last week.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, and the other 4 were all really comfortable. And in my head, before that game, there was no way that I seen the Browns winning it. Not even from the old historic that's the Browns. I thought the Falcons were on a streak.
Yep. The Browns had a bit of a slump.
Browns had got rid of their head coach. The first game didn't go too well under Greg Williams. So
it all totally made sense when you were talking through it last week. I felt sorry for you when it was like, yeah, it's your coupon bust, and it was the first bloody result that came in as well, which is typical.
I know.
Like, God damn it.
And I was just
else sailed in.
My only saving grace, or it doesn't make it right, but the other bet that I was going to choose between the Falcons was the over the points in the Redskins and Buccaneers games, which definitely wouldn't have come in because I finished on 19 points and I was looking at over 46.5. So either way, I would have got beat.
That was a strange result.
That was a weird game.
What was it, 3-3 into the third quarter? So
6-3.
It was just like nothing was happening.
Bucks had over 500 yards of offense and got 3 points.
Oh, I love that stat. Yeah, I forgot about it. It's like the only team ever have done it or something.
Oh my god.
It's unreal.
My
They're sticking with Fitz though. They've not moved away from him. So that tells me more about the lack of faith of Winston than what I would imagine, because I had not an inkling, but I wondered if after Sunday, because Fitz threw yet another couple of interceptions, they thought maybe, this would be a time where they could reasonably go, right, we've given Winston a few weeks off, now it's time to get him back in to it.
There was a play during the game where it's a scramble play where Fitz can make the first down and he turns back and runs the other way and gets sacked. It's hilarious. Or tackled, sorry, not sacked. So
your picks this week.
I'm really confident this week. I was really confident last week.
So don't read too much into your confidence then.
So here's the lesson for people who are very risk adverse. Put 5 separate bets on for gaps rather than doing an accumulator. Most of them are going to come in. You could then you could then put a small bet on an accumulator for all of them, but
you would have made profit if you'd done it that way last week. Not much, but you would have made profit if you looked at it that way. You don't have to put these on, obviously. I'll stick to the £10 stake, and this week's bet is starting off with the Saints again. Saints minus 5 points, which is at 4-7.
And they're playing.
They are playing. It doesn't matter.
Eagles.
They're playing the Eagles, yeah. But it probably wouldn't matter who they were playing.
No, I don't think so. The rate they're going at.
So they're playing the Eagles at home. They have beat 4 of their last.
Saints are at home.
I'm sure they are.
Or Eagles are at home.
The Saints are at home.
If it's in the dome, Christ almighty, that's such a slam dunk. It's not
even if the Saints are actually another stat with the Saints, they are 5-0 on the road. Last time they did that, they won the Super Bowl.
All these little signs, that are gearing up.
So you've got Saints Eagles at minus 5.
Minus 5, and the reason being is they have won 4 of their last 5 games by 10 points or more. So by 5 points, effectively a touchdown against a stuttering Eagles team. I really like that bet. So I think that's an absolute stick on, and the Eagles look like they're done. I think their season's over. I think there was a stat that came out. Their playoff percentage chances, had they beat the Cowboys, was 70%. The defeat to the Cowboys threw them down to 30%.
Yeah, it's a total flip game.
So their divisional record takes a hit, and that just doesn't look good for them now. So I think what they'll do is you'll soon see them maybe just finishing on a 8-8. I think, and they'll write this year off. And Ronald Darby, the
ACL.
Saints cornerback.
Cooper broke it for him. Oh, it was his Achilles. Was it his Achilles or was it his ACL?
I think it was ACL.
It was ACL, yeah. But Cooper broke it for him by just outmaneuvering him, and you could basically see when you seen the play when Darby turned, it was like crunk, game over.
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well when you have to try and defend Michael Thomas and the rest of that team. Yeah, so the Saints minus 5 is where I start. I moved on to the Panthers to beat the Lions. The Panthers are 2-5, which is 1-2, effectively. Lions have lost 3 in a row, and they look like they've given up as well. Their season's done. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win the division, so they've got none to play for, whereas the Panthers need to bounce back after a really bad performance against the Steelers. And the Lions have got the 28th ranked run defense. That doesn't bode well when you have to try and stop Cam Newton and CMC. So I really like the Panthers to bounce back in that one.
Yep.
Moving on to the Chargers, just to beat the Broncos in the divisional game. That's 2-7, which is almost 1-3. So if you put £30 on, you would get 40 back. Simple. Chargers have won 5 in a row, and it's a divisional game, so they're not going to take their foot off the gas. I just can't see that being any other result. The Broncos look like their season's done as well. They don't have Demaryius Thomas anymore, as we already knew, so I don't see how they're going to trouble that Chargers defense. So that seems banged on for me. Steelers to beat the Jags. Steelers are 1-2. Jags have lost 5 in a row. Steelers have won 5 in a row. Simple. That's the sort of logic behind that one.
Yeah.
And then my favourite bet. So last week I spoke about how much I really like the Seahawks bet. My favourite bet this week is the Giants plus 3 points playing the Bucks at home. So the Giants were a 3-0 head start against the Bucks. Bucks have got their 31st ranked run defence. Step up Saquon Barkley. So yeah, I think that's just looking like...
Saquon's got 100 scrimmage yards in 8 or 9 games this season.
Yeah.
So that does not bode well for the Bucks. And actually, so the way that the fixtures are based this week, so the Eagles play the Saints. Saints are probably going to beat them. I fancy them to beat them. And the Cowboys are in Atlanta. So Atlanta at home, I would fancy Atlanta to beat them. If the Giants win this game, they're only 1 win behind both those teams. Which I'm not saying that they can reach the playoffs or anything, or the wild cards or anything like that. But I still think that Pat Shurmur will want to be competitive in his first year as a head coach.
Divisional pride more than anything else. If you think you're only 1 game behind, it's like, right, wait a minute, the hunt is on. You can just start gunning for it.
Yeah.
Pat Shurmur has got something to play for. Dirk Cotter is a duck in the water. Yeah, he's ready to get chopped. And I also expect the Bucks to turn over the ball, and away from home, that doesn't really look good for them either. So the Giants at plus 3 points is 8-15. So if you put all these on as an accumulator, if you put £10 on it, it pays back 64. So over the course of a 16-week season, if we get 3 of these right out of 16, we'll break even.
You've been profit.
Yeah, probably a little bit, yeah. But I really do like it this week, and obviously the NFL's a crazy game though. Things can happen like injuries that you can't predict for. But when I looked at this bet, I was like, yeah, this feels really good. I can't see an argument, or it'd take a lot of convincing to tell me how these results could go around the other way.
Yep.
So yeah, £10 for 64, and I'm feeling like what we'll do is until we win the first one, we'll keep posting them, and we'll give the first winnings to anyone that retweets it.
Yep.
Sound good?
Yep.
Yeah. Follow us, retweet. First one that comes in, we'll pay out.
Yeah. Free money. Okay. Why are we all just staring at me now?
You've just committed us all to a financial obligation.
No, I'll still pay. I'll still put it on, so I'll pay for it.
Yeah. Brilliant. So the only other thing I had for us to speak to today was the Pro Bowl. But I think what we should do, Pro Bowl voting is now open. How long is it open for?
You usually get it for about a month. There's a decent-ish window in it.
How about 2 weeks' time we come back with a Pro Bowl episode?
Yeah.
Next week is going to be all about the Chiefs and the Rams game.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're not going to have time to speak about anything else.
Are we doing it as an over and above, or as in like an extra wee bonus half hour, or are we going to just take over the normal weekly?
Let's work that out.
We'll figure out as we go, right? So you may get a cheeky bonus episode, or it'll be a slight change to plan, and there'll be less of the normal chit chat we get.
You will have to follow us to find out what we do.
I like
listen
it.
and see. Or listen and hear.
Yeah, on that, welcome all our new listeners. Episode 22 is our most listened to episode, so we definitely have some new
Other than
fans.
our first one.
Which was on a different channel, yeah. But
since we went our own way, it's our most successful episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And apologies in advance to everyone that I did email you all individually. Especially our new people that haven't had an email from me before.
We're just friends, okay?
Yeah, of course. Just like, that's kind of the thing I was a bit unsure about, because social media, they continually tweak how they do things. And I'm not always sure that we show up on people's feeds. Twitter at least is a bit more, because it's chronological. It doesn't move much.
Although it does
But
the
does it move
stupid
when
in case
people-
you missed it stuff now, which I don't like.
Yes, whatnot. So anyway, but I know Facebook's all over the pop. So if you'll hear from us for 3 days, and then you won't hear from us ever again unless we pay them like $20 to get hold of 3 people, which is just nonsense.
Yeah.
So so that's why it's just we message every now and again. You'll probably get from me once every 6 months. Hi, we're still here.
And we do appreciate all the listens and any feedback and interactions on social media.
Yep.
So thank you so much.
Yeah. And I think that sums up episode 23 of the American Fitbaw Cast.
Is that the nicest ending that we've ever had?
I was about to give you the opportunity to say something else, so you could ruin it.
Okay.
I was just about to say, is that because I wasn't involved? Steve doesn't do the intro, doesn't do the ending this week. Everything goes well.
No, find us at the usual places, at the AFcast on Twitter, search for the American Fitbaw Cast on Facebook. Let us know what you think, your thoughts on what's happened in the past week, on the week ahead, and yeah, we might even get a shout out on here. No one ever talks to us, so they don't get shout outs.
We'll do that. We'll do shout outs next week.
Okay.
So everyone gets hold of us on Twitter. You will be mentioned in next week's episode. Committed.
God damn it.
Means I need to track all that, but that's fine.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll speak to you again next week.
You've been listening to another great podcast from the Fair City Podcast Network, a group dedicated to connecting and developing podcasts. Check out fcpod.net for more great podcasts and content.